YouTube, what it do? It's your boy TWV checking in for another edition of the Monday Night Raw recap and review. This Monday Night Raw was action packed with a lot of different developments leading into WrestleMania next weekend. We are basically 2 weeks away, really 1 week away in my mind, because this weekend doesn't even count. It's going to be like this, and we're going to be in Vegas next weekend. Don't ask me how I think about time. But with that being said, let's get into the review. So the show opened up with General Manager Adam Pearce addressing the escalating tension surrounding the Women's World Championship. He invited reigning champion Io Sky, along with top contenders Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, to the ring to resolve the situation. Pearce announced that due to recent events, the Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania will now be a triple threat featuring Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. He then presented the contract for the match, seeking signatures from all three competitors. Bianca Belair was the first to sign, expressing confidence in her ability to overcome the added challenge. She acknowledged that while the inclusion of Ripley might have frustrated her previously, she was now prepared to face both opponents and emerge victorious at WrestleMania. As Ripley began to speak, Belair interrupted, urging her to sign a contract. Without further discussion, Ripley complied, signing the document and then throwing it back at Belair, leading to a tense face-off between the two. Throughout this exchange, Io Sky was largely overlooked by her challengers. Seizing the moment, Sky exited the ring only to springboard back in with a missile dropkick that took down both Belair and Ripley. She then signed a contract, asserting her presence and dominance as the reigning champion. So, like I said, this was going to happen regardless. Like, we knew we were leading toward a triple threat match. Like, literally, from the day Bianca won the Elimination Chamber, literally the photo was them three staring at each other. Like, Rhea came out and looked at Bianca, and Io walked up afterwards and looked at Rhea, because that Monday she had the match against her where she won the title, and then, you know, we drugged the story, not drugged, but we built the storyline to the triple threat match. So I'm excited. This is going to possibly be the match of the night. I think it co-main events night one. I don't think it co-mains night two. It possibly could co-main night two. I don't know what. I think Jey co-mains night two. I don't know. Like, in my mind right now, I think Jey Uso should have that co-main event spot. He shouldn't start off WrestleMania winning the belt. I think he should kind of be there at the end of the show. Just me personally. But this is going to be amazing. Rhea Ripley is a phenomenal talent. She had an amazing match against Becky Lynch last year at WrestleMania. Io Sky had easily the best match of WrestleMania weekend against Bayley last year. Arguably the best women's wrestling match, in my opinion. Like, that's how great that match was last year, not to get long-winded about it. And Bianca Belair is going 5-0, I think, at WrestleMania. I think she's 4-0 right now in singles matches. She did lose a Battle Royal, but who counts Battle Royals at WrestleMania? But in singles matches, or, you know, just championship matches at WrestleMania, she is undefeated. So let's make her the new Undertaker and let Bianca Belair build up a WrestleMania streak. So I'm excited to see that. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. Next segment was Judgment Day Backstage, discussing the upcoming challenges and internal dynamics. Finn Balor addressed Dominic Mysterio's inclusion into the upcoming Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania, acknowledging external doubts about Dominic's capabilities and killer instinct. Balor emphasized that this was Dominic's opportunity to silence critics by defeating Penta in the singles match tonight. Dominic expressed concern about facing Penta alone, prompting Carlito to interject and assure him of his support during the match. So this is the basically leaning toward the final straw of the Judgment Day imploding. Like, Finn Balor was telling Dom, you know, he's a loser. You know, he doesn't have that killer instinct. Like, basically just degrading Dom and putting him down to kill his confidence, because he, you know, he's in his mind, his ego, he's the leader of the group, and he's the only one that should be able to go for the Intercontinental Championship and things of that nature. So them two being in that fatal four-way at WrestleMania, I seen a thing on Twitter where everybody has pinned somebody in the match except for Dom. So they said Finn pinned Penta, Braun Breaker pinned Finn, Penta pinned somebody. I want to say Finn as well. Or Dom. No, Penta pinned Dom in the match. So Dom is the only person that has not pinned somebody. So Dominic Mysterio pins Finn Balor to win the Intercontinental Championship. Book it and ship it. It is right here on TWV today on Tuesday, April 8th. I am telling you that Dominic Mysterio is going to pin Finn Balor and become the new Intercontinental Championship, and then we can break off into the Dom Finn feud because he gets kicked from the Judgment Day, I guess, right after this some sort of way, and Finn Balor becomes a good guy again. We can get into Dom versus Penta. We could have Braun try to get his belt back, but I think post WrestleMania, Braun Breaker gets put in that main event tier over there on Monday Night Raw. I think his first feud should be against Jey Uso when Jey Uso wins the championship. I feel like Gunther's going to try to rematch it, but I feel like Gunther and Braun Breaker would be the best two feuds to start off with for Jey Uso's title reign, in my opinion. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The first in-ring action of the night was Lyra Valkyria defending her WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship against Bayley in a highly anticipated match. This match marked their first encounter since Bayley defeated Valkyria in a non-title Elimination Chamber qualifying match in February. The bout commenced with both competitors displaying mutual respect through a handshake. As the match progressed, the intensity escalated with several high-impact maneuvers. Valkyria executed a tornado DDT on the floor, followed by a fisherman suplex outside the ring. She then delivered a second fisherman suplex inside the ring for a near fall. Bayley responded with a sunset flip bomb into the corner, showcasing her resilience. In the closing moments, Valkyria countered Bayley's rose plant attempt and secured a jackknife pin to retain her championship. So, man, this match, I want to say, was 10 to 12 minutes, but it was action packed. I kind of really summarized it really quickly, but it was some real great graps in there. This was a great women's wrestling match. Bayley is such an underrated wrestler, but Lyra Valkyria is so underrated as well, even though she is the IC Women's Champion. She goes in there and gives her all every single night. I definitely am a huge fan of her, the Bird Lady. So I hope that we get her on a WrestleMania match. They are both partners this Friday for the tag team gauntlet match. Let's see how that goes. I think they do lose. I don't know who wins that. We will circle back around Friday. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. Segment was AJ Styles participated in a backstage interview that provided significant insight into his current mindset and upcoming plans/matches. During the segment, Styles expressed confidence regarding his scheduled WrestleMania match against Logan Paul, emphasizing that Paul's inexperience will be his downfall. He stated he gets to embarrass Logan Paul on the grandest stage of them all because you can't beat experience. The interview took an unexpected turn when Karrion Kross interrupted. Kross taunted Styles, suggesting that he needs assistance to rediscover the version of himself capable of securing victories. He ominously remarked, if he loses at Mania, they all lose at Mania. In response to Kross's provocations, Styles confronted him directly, questioning his intentions. Determined to prove his resilience, Styles declared his intent to speak with General Manager Adam Pearce to arrange a match against Kross for the following week's Raw. So, Karrion Kross is such a great character. If you understand the nuances and the psychological part of professional wrestling, he's like an evil genius. Like, whenever he talks to somebody, they turn heel or become bad guys and stuff like that. I don't think AJ Styles needs a heel turn, but I think AJ Styles does need an edge put back on him. Basically like how Roman Reigns' character is. Roman Reigns is a babyface, but he just has that edge to him, like, like he just has that I'm that guy type of aura to him. So that's what AJ Styles needs to get back. I do like Karrion Kross getting a match. I don't really think he makes WrestleMania though, unless he does something in the Logan Paul match. And I don't know if he comes to AJ's aid or whatever it may be. I don't think it gets that far. But I do like Kross's character. I'm iffy. Like, he should be in matches, but I do like this mysterious backstage ominous character that he does. I am looking forward to the AJ Styles and Logan Paul match. AJ Styles is a generational wrestler. Like, he held TNA together for years. Like, he was literally the poster child of TNA going up against WWE back when they were on Spike TV when I was a kid. So I've loved AJ Styles forever. Logan Paul, outside of wrestling, don't care for him at all. Inside that squared circle, I'm not gonna call him a generational talent, but for him to pick this up within the last 4 years, my gosh, that guy's talented. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was a 6-man tag team match that featured LWO compromising the Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wild against America-made Julius and Brutus Creed teaming with the enigmatic El Grande Americano. The bout commenced with Brutus Creed and Cruz del Toro exchanging holds, with Brutus showcasing his power through a dominant shoulder tackle. Joaquin Wild entered executing a spinning head scissor takeover on Brutus. The LWO then orchestrated synchronized splashes on their opponents, culminating in triple somersault sentons to the outside, momentarily seizing control. American Made responded emphatically, delivering simultaneous superplexes to each member of the LWO, shifting momentum as the match progressed. Dragon Lee later trapped Julius Creed in a tree of woe, delivering a double stomp from the top rope. Cruz del Toro followed with a springboard crossbody and a hurricanrana into the corner, demonstrating the LWO's resilience. In the climax, Ivy now discreetly handed El Grande Americano a concealed object, which he inserted into his mask. Amid the ensuing chaos, Americano used a loaded mask to headbutt Rey Mysterio off the apron and then struck Dragon Lee, securing the pinfall victory for his team. So this match was a lot of fun, a lot of action. Like at one point, I want to say Joaquin Wild ran over two people's backs and got launched over outside the ring onto Brutus Creed. And man, it was cool. Like the LWO, there are some extreme high flyers. Double-edged sword. I wish they would do more with them, but at the same time, it's like the tag division sucks. So it's like you can only do so much. Not even gonna gripe on the tag division right now in this video. Y'all know how I feel about it. But this was really cool. I hope they kill the El Grande Americano thing after WrestleMania. That leads into something further. I kind of just spoiled it, but we're about to circle back around to it later. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. An emotionally charged in-ring segment unfolded between World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and Jey Uso, intensifying their rivalry ahead of WrestleMania 41. The segment began with Gunther making his entrance, exuding his characteristic confidence. Before he could address the audience, main event Jey Uso entered through the crowd, his demeanor reflecting determination and focus. The unannounced appearance caught Gunther off guard, leading to a moment of palpable tension between the two. Jey Uso took the microphone and delivered an impassioned promo dedicating his pursuit of the World Heavyweight Championship to his injured brother Jimmy Uso. He expressed that his motivation was deeply personal, aiming to honor his family's legacy by dethroning Gunther at WrestleMania. And my crash out right hand man Jey Uso was on that mic talking that talk. He asked Gunther, did he have a mom? You know, what does him and his mom talk about? And, you know, he had to call his mom and tell his mom that his son isn't, oh my God. He had to call his mom and tell her son is in the hospital and he had 14, 15 stitches. And his mom asked, why did Jey not protect Jimmy? And Jey had to tell his mom, like, he said, I never lied to my mom and I won't start now. Like, I was scared. And he said, you know how I feel about my brother. Everybody knows how I feel about my brother. He's like, now I gotta get you. And he was like, before he has his match at WrestleMania, he gonna lay down before he go to lay down for the match to get ready for the next day. He gonna say a prayer and ask God for forgiveness because what he's gonna do to Gunther at WrestleMania. So we need to add a stipulation to this match. This can't just be no regular match with Jey just going crazy like that. It caught Gunther off guard so bad. Gunther wasn't even able to respond. Like he just was in a state of like shock and like slight confusion. Like, oh man, I really didn't cross the line. He really about to crash out. But I loved everything about it. You know who I'm rocking with. We about to be yeeting in WrestleMania in Vegas. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods challenging the War Raiders, Erik and Ivar for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. This match was highly anticipated given the recent history between the two teams. The bout began with Ivar and Kingston squaring off. Ivar quickly asserted his power by bowling over Kingston, prompting Kofi to seek a breather outside the ring. Upon re-entering, Kingston tagged in Woods, and together they initiated the Unicorn Stampede on Erik. However, Erik countered, effectively showcasing his resilience. As the match progressed, the War Raiders utilized their signature combination of strength and agility. Ivar delivered a freight train crossbody, followed by an assisted power slam on the Woods. The champions displayed seamless teamwork, executing a springboard heart attack on Kingston, which Woods narrowly interrupted to prevent a pinfall. The turning point occurred when a steel chair was introduced into the match. Xavier Woods employed an Eddie Guerrero special, a tactic where a wrestler feigns being struck by a weapon to deceive the referee. This led to the New Day winning the match by disqualification. Post-match, the New Day capitalized on the situation by launching a vicious assault on the War Raiders. They wedged the chair in the corner and threw Erik headfirst into it. Ivar was sent over the timekeeper's barricade, further incapacitating the champions. Woods then set up a chair in the ring, placed Erik's neck through it, and applied pressure, emphasizing the brutality of the attack. Kofi Kingston was going to jump from the top rope, but they did. The officials came down and ran down and stopped them. So this is just going to build to their match at WrestleMania. I think this will be a singles tag team match. Unless something happens Monday. That's the only time it'll happen Monday, and they added another team. But I think it will be the New Day versus the War Raiders, and the New Day win the belts. And I think they'll break the record for the most tag team reigns in WWE history, because I think they're like 12-time tag team champs, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself right here. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. So the next segment was Rey Mysterio and Raw General Manager backstage, following a 6-man tag team match where American Made secured a victory over the Latino World Order. Tensions escalated due to confrontational tactics employed by El Grande Americano. In the aftermath of the match, Rey Mysterio confronted Adam Pearce in his office, expressing deep frustration. Mysterio accused El Grande Americano of disrespecting the traditions of Lucha Libre, particularly highlighting the use of concealed metal plate in his mask to secure the win. Mysterio passionately requested a one-on-one match against El Grande Americano, emphasizing his desire to uphold the honor of Lucha Libre. Pierce acknowledged Mysterio's concerns and granted the match, allowing Mysterio to choose the venue. Seizing the opportunity, Mysterio selected WrestleMania 41 as the stage for their confrontation. So, short, sweet, straight to the point. It's Rey Mysterio. It wasn't going to be a WrestleMania without Rey Mysterio. This may be an opening match on the show. Like, Rey Mysterio's like a super legacy actor at this point. Like, he's like the Undertaker without having the streak. Like, until Rey Mysterio retires, he's going to find a way on the WrestleMania. Like, last year, I think he was in a 6-man match with LWO and Andrade against Dom and a couple people. Like, he's gonna find his way on the WrestleMania every year. The year before that, he faced Dom in a 1-on-1 match. Like, he's gonna, like I keep saying, he's gonna find his way on the WrestleMania every year, because it's Rey Mysterio. Like, that honestly may be the greatest Lucha Libre ever. Eddie Guerrero could have had that title. Unfortunately, he passed away in his prime. But I think Dom will take on the legacy. I don't think Dom will wear a mask. Unless like Rey passes the mask down. I think Dom wants his own identity, and I like how his character has developed over the last couple of years with the Judgment Day. Not to get on the whole Dom Mysterio rant, but with that being said, let's get to the next one. Next in-ring action was Penta facing Dominic Mysterio in a highly anticipated match that showcased Penta's dynamic wrestling style and further ongoing storylines within the Intercontinental Championship hunt. The match began with both competitors engaging in a series of technical maneuvers, including wrist locks and standing switches. Penta gained the upper hand and early advantage with open hand chops and a series of high-flying maneuvers, including a head scissors takeover and a quebradora. He followed up with a sling blade and a step-up plancha, taking both Mysterio and Carlito outside the ring. After the commercial break, Mysterio took control with a series of shoulder blocks and taunts. He executed the Three Amigos suplexes and attempted a frog splash, but Penta countered with an inside cradle. The action continued with near falls and high-impact moves from both wrestlers. In the closing moments, Penta countered Mysterio's 619 attempt and delivered a super kick, followed by an enziguri in the corner. He executed a handstand double stomp and prepared for his finishing moves. Despite interference from Carlito, Penta secured the victory with his signature Penta driver. Post-match, Penta got beat down by Dominic Mysterio and Carlito, which led to Braun Breaker coming out. And Carlito slid out of the ring to go try to catch Braun Breaker coming down the ramp. Braun Breaker came down and sawed Carlito in half with one of the craziest spears I've ever seen. It will be right here. And then after that, Braun Breaker got in the ring and kind of cleared it a little bit. And then Finn Balor slid from the opposite side of the ring and took him out. And Finn Balor stood tall in the closing moments of this segment, which means, in my mind, like I said previously, he's going to be the guy to eat the pin, because you stood tall, held the belt up, and you're about to get cooked. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. Main event was a pivotal segment involving Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, significantly intensifying the narrative leading up to WrestleMania 41. The segment commenced with Paul Heyman in the ring reiterating his unwavering loyalty to both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. He asserted that his allegiance to each did not equate the disloyalty to the other, aiming to clarify his position ahead of WrestleMania. So, for context, because I ran into a little bit of burnout, so I did not get the Friday Night SmackDown video out. But during Friday Night SmackDown, in that main event, CM Punk cashed in a favor where he told Roman Reigns that he wants Paul Heyman to be in his corner. CM Punk and Paul Heyman are best friends in real life. So it got a little dicey where after that, like, CM Punk hit CM Punk hit Roman Reigns with to go to sleep. And that's how we get to where we're at today. So let's jump back into it now. Interrupting Heyman, Seth Rollins challenging Heyman's divided loyalties. Rollins questioned whether Heyman would stand by Punk, his best friend, or remain as Reigns' special counsel. He recounted past grievances, highlighting how Reigns had used him and left him vulnerable, particularly referencing the aftermath of WrestleMania the previous year. So let's take a page back to post-WrestleMania last year. So after Roman Reigns lost the Undisputed Championship to Cody Rhodes, he was off of TV till SummerSlam. So WrestleMania last year was in April. He did not come back till SummerSlam, which was August. So in that time frame, if you've been around wrestling, Solo Sikoa became the interim tribal chief. He took the Ulufala and he started his own new bloodline. That's how Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jacob Fatu all debuted into the WWE. And they ran wild. So at one point, Solo told Paul Heyman that he's his wise man, and Paul Heyman didn't go for that. And they were in Madison Square Garden in New York, and they powerbombed Paul Heyman through a announce table. So in Seth Rollins talking about this, he said that, Seth Rollins named Paul Heyman's kids' names. I don't remember their names, but, they said that Roman Reigns left you high and dry, and your kids seen you get powerbombed through a table. So what are you going to do? Like, he showed you his hand. Like, are you still going to stand beside him? And then he was just telling them, like, hey, how much are you worth? Like the CM Punk. And, he started slapping Paul Heyman and yoking him up. And Paul Heyman yoked Seth Rollins up, like, don't you put your hands on me again? And all of that. He teased, like, stomping Paul Heyman beforehand. And then CM Punk ran down to the ring and they had a heated brawl. And then amidst the chaos, Rollins hit a curb stomp on CM Punk, and then Paul Heyman kind of slid over there to try to aid CM Punk, and then Seth Rollins, the camera panned, and Seth Rollins lined up another one to Paul Heyman, and then he faked the stomp, and then told Paul Heyman, now you owe me a favor, and that's how the show ended. And my speculation is now that it's a double cross, and Seth Rollins becomes a Paul Heyman guy. That would be an interesting twist. I don't know what else the favor could be from Seth Rollins. I think that's the twist right there. Like, you have to be in my corner now, and now you can't screw me over because you're on either of those guys' side. That's where I think it goes. But let's see. We got 3 shows left, really 2 shows, because the SmackDown show the day before WrestleMania is kind of just tying a bow on everything. So with that being said, it's your boy TWV checking in and checking out. I'll catch you later on tonight for the WrestleMania recap. Peace.